Good afternoon, Raheem DeVaughn. It's definitely a pleasure to have you on the Intrigue Magazine platform.
Yeah,
You're no stranger to Intrigue's platform.
yeah,
Of course, we've had you on the cover of the magazine. I don't know if you can see this because it's a little distorted.
yeah. Blessed up. I can
Yeah,
see in the
yes,
backdrop though.
yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes. But it was the July-August issue of last year. We had the pleasure of featuring you on the cover of the magazine to celebrate your greatness, your artistry, and also your philanthropy. So it's an honor to have an opportunity to speak with you today, sir.
Thank you, brother. Thank
Yes,
you. Thanks
yes.
for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Couple of questions. I know that you host the original Quiet Storm, WHUR. That's Howard University, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
96.3
Okay.
WHUR unit. We broadcast live from the Mecca. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Prestigious HBCU.
Hmm.
Legendary Howard University's campus. Yeah,
Absolutely.
for
Yes, yes.
sure.
202 area code. I'm very familiar with that beloved HBCU. So
Yeah.
that's dope. Talk to me about the kind of music that you play on your show, bro.
I mean, it's slow jams. It's what Melvin Lindsay started. It's what I grew.
Okay.
It's what I grew up on.
Right, right.
We recently changed the moniker or the hashtag. You know what I mean? But it's like not to be cliche. It's like today 2K and back in the day. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that's the vibe. So anything that your mind can fathom, you know, um, you know, whatever your feeling word is for that night,
Hmm.
whatever the mood is, whatever the vibration is, we got a song for every occasion, but it's got to be that right tempo. It's got to be
Right,
that right BPM. You know what I
right,
mean? It's a slow jam hour from 7:30 to midnight, so it's not even a lot of talking that needs to be said,
right,
and the spirit of like, what Melvin created, I don't sometimes I don't say
right.
too much, but when I talk, I say the right things that need to be said. So
Can I,
yeah,
so can I
survive.
expect to hear hometown favorites like Johnny Gill, Stacey Lattisaw,
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
and Marvin Gaye, of course?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's funny you mentioned Stacy because I owe her a call back. We're talking about doing some studio work together soon.
Excellent.
She's been
Excellent.
back
Yes.
recording and since
Yes.
she got that itch, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Yep.
To get back to it. And then yeah, we're playing Johnny's new record, for example. Kenny Lattimore,
Hmm.
Genuine,
Right.
anybody from the city that's popping,
Absolutely.
newer artists like Cecily
Hmm.
who's really dope. There's a few artists from the city that we playing as well. There's one of the things that I love about HUR, them being their own island, if you
Right.
if you
Right. Their
if
own
you would,
entity.
yeah, their own
Yes. Yeah.
entity and not and,
Hmm.
and it's not a corporate structure, you know what I mean? They kind of they've always like marched to the beat of a different drum and
Right.
um had a lot of major success this year, the number one urban station, in the city as well right
Excellent.
now, you know
Excellent.
what I mean?
Excellent.
So, but I've been number one like for entire year.
Mm.
It's been great to be seen in my city where I grew up in a different light.
Yes.
What I mean, I've been to, I'm frequently told that they couldn't imagine anybody else doing it other
Mm.
than me, and there are the comparisons to Melvin and just like continuing, in those footsteps, and I'm very keen on that anything I do outside of music, whether it's radio, media, acting, um, is to do it exceptionally well,
Right. Right.
and to put that work in, you know what I mean? I'm in my first year, man. When you talk about cats like Lenny Green
Right.
out in New York, who does the Quiet Storm in New York,
Yes.
BLS, for example, Lenny is what 2, 3 years shy of 30 years.
Right.
He
Yes.
he took over the Quiet Storm in New York
Hmm.
back in '97. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So, Keith Sweat has been on the air for like 17 years. So, like,
Nice. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
I want to follow in the footsteps of my OGs, and they kind of left the scroll, if you will, and a legacy of ensuring like how it should be done. And then of course, like all the comedians, the goal is to be syndicated at some point. Like when you think about like Steve Harvey and seeing what
Right.
he's done, DL Hughley, you
Hmm.
know, um, Ricky Smiley, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like comedians have been quietly running the radio and the syndicated game for some time. So, it's time for that R&B, young energy. but still very classic and
Hmm.
avant-garde and tasteful.
Hmm.
All the things that Melvin was when I grew up
Yeah,
listening to.
that's the DC way. And of
Yeah,
course, we got to talk about your artistry. You just announced 20 lessons of love tour, I'm sorry. And that kicked off or that will be kicking off on the
this Friday.
21st.
Yeah,
This
this
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
yeah.
Friday in New York
November
for two.
21st.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
for two shows at the City Winery, and then I'm in
Okay.
Boston on Sunday. I'm looking
Okay.
forward to that as well for two gigs, and
Okay.
um, it's a more small, intimate run that I do during the fall and the winter
Hmm.
as I prepare for my larger tour opportunities that are happening in 2026. One that I'm extremely excited about. I can't say with whom and just yet, but definitely in 2026, probably second quarter, we be the second, third quarter, second quarter for sure, we ramping back up to go back out for another leg and another run. But this run right here is all about me and the 20 lessons of love and the 20th anniversary of the Love Experience album as well.
Hmm.
And because I wasn't ready to just jump out, what I would envision the Love Experience tour to be.
Hmm.
We're gonna do that at some point. But I wanted to do 20 lessons of love tour. I thought that would be like dope and not be too cliche. And
Right.
I can think of at least 20 lessons I've learned. And
I'm sure.
and
Yeah.
and and,
Yeah.
and I actually turned it into a song which drops on November 24th. The
Okay.
actual single 20 Lessons of Love drops November 24th. And of course, this morning, at midnight, midnight last night, aka this morning, I dropped the new recorded and mastered version of You.
You.
It's
Yes. Exactly.
the
Yeah.
20th
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
anniversary of
Yes.
You.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, the Quiet Storm mix. Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure.
That's what's up. Wow. Let's talk about your activism because aside from being a celebrated artist, um, a beloved hometown radio host, you're
Uh,
also a philanthropist, and I really wanted to get into that well in the
yeah,
next 9 minutes that I have to talk to you.
yeah,
Um, I always say that the fight, the HIV fight, HIV, the HIV AIDS fight is not over. A lot
oh
of
yeah,
people feel that it is because you have different medications that
yeah,
suppress. You have,
yeah,
people are not necessarily passing away anymore
yeah,
at the same rate that they were, back in the
yeah,
80s and 90s, of course
yeah.
people seem to slack off and I feel like especially among young people the thought is it's kind of a thing of the past in terms of being a an epidemic.
Hmm.
Talk to me a little bit well talk to me briefly about your involvement, and I know that it's very near and dear to your heart, so I want to
Yeah.
give you the floor to talk about your
Yeah,
philanthropy.
well, I did get involved. I've been involved the last 3 years, and prior to that as well. But the last 3 years in particular with Gilead Sciences,
Hmm.
and solidarity with them. Understanding statistically what's going on here in the states and how
Right.
Black women make up for more than half of the new cases, but only make up for 14% of the population
Right.
here in the United States. How here in the states. Um, on an average, 100 people test positive for HIV. I understand,
Wow.
but there's also medication out here, like PrEP.
Right. Right.
That you could talk to your primary care doctor about as well, and as it gives you opportunity to, if it's a good suit for you, you have that extra pad of protection.
Protection. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, as well as using condoms and protecting yourself that way, and but more importantly too, or just as important, getting tested, knowing your status.
Absolutely. Yeah.
God
Every six
forbid,
months, I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, God forbid if you get, you test positive, there are medications that you can, reverse the symptoms and live a long and healthy life,
Productive life. Right. Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
and the cool thing about being on PrEP is that you have to automatically get tested every 3 months anyway. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
I
So
did. Yeah.
so
That's
yeah,
what's up.
and,
Yeah.
and yeah, and
Yeah.
as a person, I've been on PrEP for 3 years. And
Okay.
I'm not married. You know, I'm a heterosexual male. Black man.
Right.
And but also, to break down the stigmas of where for a long time, they tried to say that HIV was an LGBTQ
Right.
situation,
Right.
or that
Right.
or that or that prep is just for gay men, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, so it's yeah, I'm in solidarity with my LGBTQ community. I have friends, I have family, that I love.
Right.
You know what I mean? That I want that regardless of your sexuality, your religion, your faith, your region.
Right.
Everybody, we make it very clear when we're out in the field, like everybody's HIV possible. You know,
Possible.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
or anything possible if you're
Right.
not, you know, uh, educating yourself, protecting yourself, and just maybe 20 years ago or 30, 25 years ago, I might have been insecure about having conversations about
Right.
my sexual health or the fact that I take prep, you know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
was a
Uh
stigma back
yeah,
then.
yeah, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But the goal is to grow old and to be healthy in the
that's
process
right.
of doing it and try
That's
to
right.
live as long as we can, enjoy our family, enjoy our loved ones, enjoy
Right.
our partners,
Right.
and enjoy this thing called life. So, the partnership with Gilead is just what I do, like any other thing I do with the Love Life Foundation, whether it's fighting domestic violence or advocating and educating about HIV and AIDS, or, you know, you know, feeding the homeless or those that are displaced.
Right.
It's all aligned to community, it all
Yeah, I was
comes
gonna
back
say
to
I
back
was
to
gonna
community. And it's
I
a
was
very
gonna say
important thing
that.
for me.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that, right? Basically, everything that's near and dear to your heart, aside from obviously, being a recording artist, being a radio host, seems to be
Yeah.
about community. I want to shout out one thing before I got 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I got to
please
run
do.
out.
Yeah,
But
take your time.
so I'm putting my boss here, the publisher of Intrigue Magazine, Mr. Dwayne Butler. I am putting him on blast very quickly.
Okay.
Last year he attended a concert.
Okay.
You might be familiar. Clifford Brown Jazz Festival in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
Somebody performed and he was blown away, and I'm talking to him right now. So
Oh, wow.
in the last couple of minutes that I have to speak with you, Raheem,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I want to
please.
ask you a question.
Yes, please do.
I come from a certain era. I was
Uh-huh.
born in 72, which means musically I'm a 90s kid.
Yeah.
When I went to see concerts, whether they be New Edition, Janet Jackson, Guy, Teddy Riley, Teddy Riley and Guy, Key Sweat, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Artists knew how to perform.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is a Raheem DeVaughn show like? We know what your
Oh,
music's
man.
like. We know what your music's like, but in
Yeah.
4 minutes, tell me what people can expect when they see you hit that stage.
Coming to one of my shows is like it's like going to great adventures for the day. You know what I mean? It's it's
Okay,
it's it's, it's like
a
going to
roller
your
coaster?
it's a roller coaster ride, it's a water park, it's all the things it needs to be. It's fun. You know what I mean? You're gonna need to change your clothes. For the ladies, you might need to change a mentionables.
Uh-oh,
You're gonna
okay.
you
All
may
right,
need
ladies.
you may need a towel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
High
there's
energy.
yeah, high energy, you know, um, you know, and it's but most importantly, it's an exchange, it's a frequency, it's connection,
Yes.
528 megahertz at its highest frequency, it's authentic, you know what I mean? It's a time capsule. It's
Right.
getting in a time machine and going down memory lane of the
Hmm.
songs that you conceived your child to, had your first kiss, had your first prom dance, reminiscent of your sibling, your older sibling that might have been playing this music that they put you on to,
Right.
or riding with your parents, or you know, your first your first time, you took a drink, or a rolled a spliff, like,
Hmm.
it's your HBCU days. It's all the
Mm.
things, and that's what, it's a party. It's
A complete
it's a
experience.
complete experience.
Complete experience. Yes.
I'm really excited about the new show, because I'm back in my social conscious bag. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Good. Good. Good.
I got a lot of gems out there, from
Hmm.
like, my peoples to Revelations 2010 with Damian Marley, or Bulletproof with Ludacris. So
Nice.
so I'm back in my bag. I got this. next year I got a project coming out with BBE, that was produced by Kenny Dope. It's the entire Marvin Gaye
Nice.
remake album. I won't get into what it is
Right.
specifically just yet, um, but yeah, I'm in my social conscious bag, as well as my lover bag, and grown and sexy and mannish, and like all the things that we are.
Mm,
It's raw emotion. You know what I mean? And definitely, and then with the loss of like D'Angelo this year, and
right.
in the last
Angie
12 months,
Stone.
Angie
Yeah.
Stone,
Yeah.
Quincy
Mm,
Jones,
right. Mm,
Dwayne Wiggins,
yeah.
like like
That's really nice.
I'm not playing no games right now.
Hmm.
I'm waving the torch for them. I feel
Roy Ayers.
yeah, Roy Ayers,
Yes.
and like,
A lot of
yeah,
legends.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and these are all the people I had to announce that, I announced their death, or we
Yeah.
did tributes to them,
Right.
on the show, on a Quiet Storm. So yeah, it's just like all of that hits very close to home for me.
Mm,
Angie in particular, because Angie was one of those people who um who genuinely would like call and check on me out the blue.
mm,
You know what I mean? Or she would call me sometimes, and we would run plays of things, hey, I got an opportunity where you might be able to tour with me,
nice. Yeah.
in London,
Yeah.
or like, hey, like, I'm working on this play, or let me send you a record, So it's again,
It hits home. It
yeah,
hits home.
it all
Yeah. It
hits
hits home.
home,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think
Yeah. Yeah.
I 10 years later, after Brown Sugar album dropped, the Love Experience dropped, and I wanted to be that version of D'Angelo for the
Mm,
city, and
yeah.
what I was doing, a huge influence, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it means everything, and I'm super excited to looking forward to Friday, and it's two shows a night, so it's like the James Brown circuit for me, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Well, I
Yeah.
congratulate you on everything you're doing. I see the glow in your face. When I
Yeah.
brought up performing in general, you just lit up
It's one thing.
like
It's
a
my
light
happy.
bulb, bro.
It's
Yeah.
my it's my happy place,
Yeah. It's your happy face. Yeah.
and I put a lot over the last 72 months. I put a lot of work and focus into the
Hmm.
performance
Yeah.
art piece of it. So to hear that he saw it, and then got it, and feels like
Hmm.
it's one of the best things he probably seen, and
Wow.
because there's a lot of great artists and performers out there as well. I'm not the
Hmm.
only one. So,
Right.
to hear that, like, if I'm in your top five, or your number one, or your top three,
That
I'll
says
take
a
that.
lot.
It
That
says
says
a
a
lot.
lot.
I'll take
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Really quickly, because I got to run out.
Yeah,
But I want to let everybody know how they can stay up on you in
yeah,
terms of your creative components. Very
yeah,
quickly, how can people connect with you on social media, website, Instagram,
yeah.
YouTube, etc.?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Raheem DeVaughn online dot global. The website, of course,
Okay.
Instagram, Raheem underscore Devon, YouTube.com/Raheem Devon, Facebook.com/Raheem Devon. I'm all the places. I'm very vocal, and
Okay.
easy accessible on social media, and reaching out to the people, talking to the people, all the things. Again, brand new single that's out. The Terry Hunter, DJ Terry Hunter, producer, Grammy Award winning producer Terry Hunter. Uh, the single is out, for you. The house remix version, by legendary Terry Hunter. That's available
Hmm.
on tracksource.com. For those that want to support us direct to consumer and actually buy the single,
Right.
you can do that there. It's also available for stream on the DSPs, except for Spotify. Um, which came out the 20th anniversary Quiet Storm version, as well as like the open. I got all these different versions, the acapella, and we just did a real old school to let people just connect with the music in the way that they need to connect with it. That just dropped at midnight.
Okay.
On the
Okay.
24th, 20 Lessons of Love will be available to the world, on all DSPs except for Spotify, and then I have a holiday record. It's called Snowed In,
Okay.
which drops on November 27th. So every 3 to 4 days, I've been dropping singles. It's kind of just like roll out, and then there'll be no more releases until after the new year. In the first quarter, I'm looking forward to dropping the Quiet Storm Lover project.
Okay.
And which may be an EP or a full body of work. I just like to call them projects. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's it.
Yeah,
Keep it simple. And of course,
yeah,
IntrigueMagazine.com. We stay close to anything and everything Raheem DeVaughn. So make sure you guys stay locked in with us. We will keep
Yeah,
you posted on anything that this brilliant young brother from the District of Columbia puts out. Thank you so much for talking to us, brother.
yeah,
I got to jet out, but it was a
yeah.
pleasure talking to you. It was an honor speaking with you, and
Love life.
I look forward to seeing you on stage very soon.
Yes, sir, man. Peace and love. Thank you so
Have a good
much.
day. Yes, sir.
Yep. One, one.